Oh, hi.
Okay.
Oh,
Hello.
hey. Hi, how are you?
Welcome on in, everybody. Settle up, settle in.
Settle.
Not up, not that.
Down.
And it's up, and it's up, and it's
You're
up.
settling somewhere.
We're settling. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Because you know what? This is Just Gaming Tingz Podcast, and we can do all the things, including bringing an all queer perspective on video games, gaming news, and nerdy stuff every Saturday, live on twitch.tv/JustGamingTingz at 2 p.m.
We sure
Eastern
do.
Time. Ooh. Here we
Yeah.
are.
Ooh, we're here.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh.
We're clowns.
What is this? Clownery in the stream.
Time for clowning.
It's done. Bye.
We did it. Bye, everyone. Thanks. No, just kidding. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Ruby. My pronouns are they, them. But we also have Jam. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome
I love
back.
you guys. I'm here 2 weeks in a row. I think my life is getting back on track, y'all.
Ooh.
Can we just acknowledge how cute Jam is today? You're so cute.
Adorable, honestly.
Truly. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I love
We just
you
gotta take a
guys.
moment. In our first story today, Jam is cute. Let's talk about it.
Reminder. Jam is a
No
cutie.
lies detected.
My ego, everyone.
It's what you deserve. It's what you deserve. Another cutie detected. Koga, hi.
Mhm.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, thank you.
Of
Such a
course,
cutie.
the truth must be told on this day. We say nothing but the truth. You know what I mean?
No lies detected, ever.
Absolutely. Also, another cutie detected, just hydrating and having a good old time. We have Spin. Hello.
Oh, hi. Hello.
We love it here.
The legend, the icon.
I decided to break out the purple blush because I had to do makeup so that I wouldn't fall asleep from chronic fatigue. Hello, here we are.
Well,
Not that. Not chronic fatigue.
you gotta do what you
But the
gotta
makeup
do
looks amazing.
to stay awake.
The makeup
and
looks
to look
amazing.
I mean,
cute.
the antidote to sleepiness is a big pink drag eyeshadow all the way up to like your eyebrow line. That's exactly what it is.
Yes.
Noted.
Yeah.
Noted. Love that. Beauty and health advice here on Just Gaming Tingz. Love that. Love that. Last but not least, a super cutie, super special guest. Hi, Pants.
Hello.
Please
Hello,
do introduce
hello.
yourself.
Yes, my name is PantsTresBien. You could just call me Pants, or you could call me Mel. Either one works. My pronouns are she, they, and for the people who are watching, I'm a VTuber, so I'm just out here with my little virtual model in my little virtual living room, having a time of my life here with all these cuties.
Yes. Icon. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yes. Thanks for joining
Thanks
us.
for having me.
We really, really appreciate you being here, everyone. We have a full-on show for y'all. We have so many stories. We're gonna be starting with our first story, which is Sony and Discord being in cahoots. So who wants to talk about that?
I just when I saw this, because you know how like before this story came out, there was like rumblings and speculations that like Microsoft was going to buy Discord,
Mhm.
and like everybody was like freaking out for some reason, and and it was just like what, and then and then that got called off, and we were like, okay, so nothing's going to happen with Discord right now. Turns out. Here we go.
Plot twist.
So Sony has a minority stake in Discord now.
Well,
Yeah. It's
Well.
wild.
Sony were the ones sliding onto those DMs.
Right? Love that.
What does this
Yeah.
mean, like, realistically, right? So, like, what is the point of Sony and Discord having a little moment? You know?
I think it's
I don't-
gonna like. Oh, go ahead, Jim.
I don't know. I think I'm since I don't play on PlayStation that much, I don't know how their like first party voice chat works. Like Microsoft's first party voice chat is decently good. So it was a little interesting that they were trying to buy in. So I wonder if it's just Sony attempting to get a better hold of their like voice chat work, and get it more improved. And since they're trying to do crossplay with PC more, that's going to help them a lot with people who play multiplayer games with PC players, because people are using that anyways when they can't play with people who aren't on the same like console or PC. So I wonder, what does everyone else think?
I have no idea what the whole point. I don't even like the first thing is like I don't understand why people were being like why people were so concerned about Microsoft and Discord to begin with, cuz like Discord is always like partnering up with people. They're always like doing stuff. So and obviously Discord is heavily associated with gaming. So it makes perfect sense that they would partner up with any of the companies. It's kind of well, it's not surprising to me, but it would be to me it would make more sense if they partnered up with Nintendo, seeing as they don't have like an actual, like it's you a lot of people have to go outside of the Nintendo, you know operating system to do any like voice chatting or anything of the sort. um but on the good side is like you can play anything on the Switch and not get hate crimed. So maybe not having voice chat is a good option sometimes, but I like, I don't mind this. I think that it's only gonna make the Sony multiplayer experience better, and so yeah, good on them for striking that good old deal. I ship it.
Yeah.
I
I don't
think they
know.
need a better system. I think they need a better system on the console is the big thing, because I
Mhm.
is I think the issue that they have always had, because Microsoft's like multiplayer online gaming system has been very good for a long time. Like that's why Xbox Live has always been, people have been willing to pay for it, because it's always been very robust and kind of, and then their in-game chat stuff is pretty easy to set up. Like on my Xbox I can easily just click a few names, make a party, and chat with people that I want to talk to and play a game together super easy if they're in my friends list. So I don't know how easy that is on PlayStation, but if this helps and improves that, I think it can only be good for gamers on the PlayStation side.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not currently on PlayStation, so I'm not exactly sure how their, stuff for chatting and whatnot works. So I'm not sure how this would help. But I mean, if it helps and makes it better for people, that's fine. Though I've definitely noticed that people ain't as upset about it with it being Sony than Microsoft. I've noticed that. You haters.
But I think
I see you out there.
Microsoft was trying to buy them outright, though. I think was the big thing.
Yeah.
I think that was like the big difference.
Yeah, so Microsoft was trying to buy the whole company, whereas I think Sony just bought a stake so that they can integrate it into their software.
Yeah,
And
they
so I
have a
think that's why
minority
people
stake.
were upset.
I want some steak now. Oh my god.
Wait up.
I do have to add, I haven't tried much of the PlayStation voice because, like, I'm always playing by myself, so I'm like, I don't
Oh,
need a
mood.
voice. I've tried it like
Whole mood.
very briefly before, but I know from like experience and like also my friends who mainly only play on console, especially PlayStation, everybody normally just defaults to Discord still for voice.
Yeah.
And I know the few times I've tried it, it's like a little wonky still sometimes, so it's not like great. It's there. It kind of works, but it's just easier just to go onto Discord anyway. And I'm kind of interested to see like if this will also let people like stream the games through Discord too. It seems like that's gonna also kind of happen, but I'm not too quite sure on the details. And that also helps because I feel like a lot of people are like, where can I default to for, I just want to share the gaming experience to my friends, but like maybe they're not on PlayStation, so it would be easier for them to just kind of go through there, than maybe even like Twitch if they're just like, I don't want to, put myself out there on Twitch.
Right. I think
Yeah,
it
that
could
totally
be
makes
cute for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I immediately, like, when I heard this, I also thought of, like, PS4 and PS5 only streamers. So, like, people that are streaming, like, direct from, like, PS4 and PS5.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to do, like, a multiplayer game with somebody and you want to have, like, the people that you're playing with on voice chat and be audible on your stream, like, this is going to, like, completely change the game for them, you know?
True.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
I
I didn't
just-
even think about that.
Okay.
Yeah, that was, like, immediately what I thought of. I was like, oh, wow, that's actually going to be really cool for that.
Right? Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts before we move on to another gaming behemoth?
I think those are all my thoughts. If any of y'all have
I think I'm
thoughts.
good. I think I'm good.
Tee-hee.
I don't have any more.
Lovely. You know, from one behemoth to another, Nintendo has announced a game builder garage. It was like kind of like a ghost announcement. Like they didn't really make a big deal about it or anything. But Nintendo said, have you ever dreamed of building your own video games? The Game Builder Garage software is a great place to start. Not sponsored. But no, the idea is like they're going to be teaching the basics of game design and programming and through this game/software where you'll be able to make 2D games, 3D games, top down. Seems like different genres of games too. So the reason I wanted to bring this up is because we always talk about accessibility. And so for people who may want to get into game dev, then this is potentially a fun opportunity for them to to dip their toesies in it and see if they're into it, if they're not into it. And of course it's not, I would assume this is not going to be like, oh, a 1-for-1 ratio on how to actually make a game. But I think it's nice that Nintendo has their own dreams, if you will, where people can kind of get into like making their own game and doing their own thing, and getting into that, especially like people who are younger and they may not know what path they want to take in life and stuff like that. So this could be like a fun opportunity for them, like RPG Maker and like even the Mario Maker series too. So like this is definitely a cute little moment I felt that Nintendo brought to the table to be like, hey, not Nintendo, gaming doesn't have to be gatekept for people. Everyone can get into it. So very interested to see how accessible the game is. Any like price points or anything of the sort. Apparently it's supposed to be $29.99, so it's not too bad. But yeah, what do y'all think? Is this interesting to y'all about like potentially making games?
Yes, I love this so much because I know that there's just like a couple of my cousins who are like that are very young, want to, make their own games, and it's like perfect for them, especially like even as just like the building blocks and the starting point of just like learning the very basics of everything. And I love that because it doesn't seem like, I'm sure like eventually they'll add more things and maybe it will become, like you said, dreams, because that's what I was thinking of. Is like how much of like dreams is it gonna be, like where can we like play other people's games? Is it gonna be like, very expansive, or are they gonna add more things probably eventually and it's kind of just gonna be like, here's kind of the very like bare bones right now, but eventually they'll probably like keep building on it. And I really see a lot of potential because like there's so much younger generation who love games, who want to get into coding, and like having that accessibility, like you said, of them being able to do that on their Switch too and learn. Like I know there's a few on like mobile, like you can try to learn from there. And I just love that, Nintendo's taking this step for, kids and even like adults, everybody really, to just even like make their own games and learn like very basic coding too.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm pretty excited about this. I think that it's interesting, and it's taking what I think has been so successful with Mario Maker and expanding that, right? And I think Mario Maker was a good step in this direction, and Mario Maker 2 took all the things that they saw wrong with Mario Maker 1, made it better. And now this is saying, okay, now let's give you a little bit more freedom, and you can kind of build any kind of game, 2D, top down, shooter, fighter, and it's kind of it's great. It's really great, and the price point seems right, like really good and really accessible for people to get into very easily. So I'm excited to see where this goes. Like, I'm probably gonna get it.
Yeah, it seems super interesting too, especially the aspect of like a step-by-step tutorial rather than you having to watch a guide or having to go on YouTube or having to read a booklet or whatever. Like, I think it makes it so accessible, especially from the little trailer that I've seen. It seems like it's very like intuitive, and it's also very, colorful, and it makes coding, programming more like fun, and it doesn't really, portray it as necessarily a thing that's like boring. It looks more like, hey, do you want to make this? Cool. Here's the first step. Okay, now do that. And this thing now does that. So I think that could be really cute, especially for like a creative moment for sure. But yeah, I remember like growing up and being like, oh my God, I want to like work in games, but then I was like, oh no, math. Oh no, coding. Oh no. And so I can see this being like a fun moment where maybe people can dabble into it and see what part of game dev is their favorite, because like there are game devs who don't do any coding. Like you can fall in love with like the narrative part of it or the visual design or literally anything. So I think this could be really cute, especially since, like y'all said, there's so many kids, teenagers that look at YouTube and Twitch and stuff, and they want to be a part of gaming. They want to do it. They see it as a possible career, and they want to go for it. So I think this is really cute.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a Switch, I definitely would look into it because it does look very interesting. Like, I was watching the trailer, and I thought it was great how you could just, like, there was just so many possibilities for people, which is me, even if I don't have a Switch again at the time, it's going to be fun to watch, what people come up with and things like that. And hopefully that, help them with, their content creation, and maybe for some, help them, get an idea how these things work, maybe get their help, go down that path. That's what they want to go to. But it definitely feel like it was just like, okay, like we've had games in the past that was like similar to that, like Super Mario Maker and like, was it RPG Maker or something like that?
Yeah.
And just things of that nature. So with this one, what I just saw, like how, like it was a trailer and they were just showing like clips, and it was just completely different games. So it's definitely something that I would want to take a look at. I'm not sure if how much creating I'll be doing, but if I had it, I'd be at least playing. And if I don't have a Switch at the time, probably at least watching. It was definitely one of the more interesting things I've seen in a while. And it's good to see that Nintendo's putting that on. And was it supposed to be $30, or was it the full on 60 because Nintendo?
It was $29.99.
I think, okay. Yeah, I think that's the supposed price point. I haven't seen it in the eShop or anything, but I think it's $29.99, which is pretty good for Nintendo too.
Yeah, that's what I've seen. It's like that's a good price for Nintendo for sure, because they love that $60 price tag.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it'll never depreciate at all.
Right.
$60 forever. I was really excited about this because, like, y'all know I'm a little Big Planet stan, and like I loved like the new Sackboy game, but I missed creating levels so much, and I feel like this kind of like fills that void for me. And it's on the Switch, and I love my Switch, and I love the portability of it, and I'm just like, I'm probably gonna get this. Yeah. I feel like it's like a perfect kind of logical leap from Mario Maker to be like, hey, let's let them make whatever. I'm really hoping that like you can play other people's games in this too, because I definitely want to check out what other people make, because like especially in Little Big Planet, I know like people are still making levels for Little Big Planet like 1 and 2, and just so creative and so cool, and like it's really interesting to see like the different things that people do with the tools that the game gives them. So in something like this where there's like even more freedom, I want to see that. I want to see other people's creativity, and I want to build stuff.
Yeah, I think the cool thing as well is like you get to be a one person dev team, because like if you're not an artist, they have, assets for you to use. If you're not a musician, they have, assets with that too. So it's really cool to just have like a pool of assets, and then you can just like focus on whatever part of it you're more excited for. And I think too, I think this is probably gonna be an opportunity for there to not be as much like cursed / inappropriate content. And I say that because it's on Nintendo, so I feel like there's a family friendly side to it that is gonna make it that parents are not gonna be afraid of their kids like playing a game or trying to make a game and having to teach them about all these things, or being worried about even like if you're allowed to play other people's creations, like, well, what kind of creations are they gonna run into and stuff like that. So really, really neat, actually. Really, really neat. But
if you want to actually get more into the topic of cursed games,
Oh no.
there is another story about that this
Well,
week.
Segways.
So it's been going on for a while that Apple and Epic are in this like big legal battle about the Epic Game Store being available like on iOS and like making like a competing store on the Apple. So as part of the trial, one of the things that Apple's lawyers brought up was the fact that you can access itch.io through Epic. So like it's not necessarily like every game on itch.io is like an Epic game, but like you can get there through Epic.
Yeah.
So, and like the way that they worded this was kind of funny to me, because it's like there's all of these games on itch.io that are so offensive and sexualized. I dare not speak them in court. Like
the drama.
It was very dramatic.
Drama.
And I loved itch.io's response to this on Twitter. Their tweet after this was, guys, Apple's lawyers just called. They said we need to turn off all the games. Games are now illegal.
I
love that.
Like,
I love that.
I don't know why Apple is going to lose. I think like they're going to lose this battle, I think. And the writing is starting to look more and more like it's on the wall that they're going to lose. Like between Microsoft upping the share of the revenue that they give to developers to like you're going against Epic, right? Who already like, strong-armed Sony into things at one point with Fortnite. Like all of like this is the wrong I think this might be the wrong fight to try to have. It's very interesting.
I feel like we reached that point in the trials where they're reaching. I feel like someone from...
Yeah, this is kind of a reach.
Someone from Epic's side, one of the lawyers, I hope at least one of them said, she's reaching, Your Honor, because that is exactly what's going on here. That's exactly what's going on here. I like even like in the like someone I know got like the latest iPhone, and like just like a random little side story, like it doesn't even come with like the charger. Like it comes with the little cable you can plug into like a computer, but it doesn't come with like the thing for you to plug into the like a plug wall or whatever. But it's like, I mean, I guess it's like if you can afford an iPhone, you can afford like the $20 accessory or whatever. But like that's not very consumer friendly. Like I feel like they're going down that road of like not backing down on like taking whatever amount that they want to take from devs and stuff like that, or literally anyone in the Apple store. They're not backing down from like their questionable user decisions as far as like customers and stuff like that. So I'm not like concerned about them. I don't think they're gonna go bankrupt anytime soon. But I do think that as far as like a consumer goes, I feel like Epic is winning as far as reputation, and people are. I feel like a lot of people also don't understand how big of a company Epic is, and they're like, "Oh my God, Apple is trying to screw up the small guys," but that's not really the case. But regardless, that's how it looks. So like, Apple is literally the only one losing, you know, like credibility. Not credibility, but like, you know, as far as reputation, they're definitely being side-eyed, I feel, by a lot of people.
Right. This does seem like kind of a reach, because it's like, yeah, people can play like adult games through itch.io on Epic, but like, are you gonna stop like putting web browsers on your phones because people can access porn websites
Right.
through them? Like, that does not make any sense to me.
Or like explicit songs. Are you not gonna have them
Right.
anymore on iTunes?
Or movies.
Right.
Yeah, because you're still selling R-rated movies on your iMovies or whatever. It's such a like Apple is literally grasping for straws because they're coming like people are coming at them and like from this game perspective, but like they even got Spotify, who is also another big company, who's coming at them and was basically like, okay, you want 30% of our revenue, but then you also turn around and made a competing app with us, right? So that you then get all the money. So like, really, what are you doing? You're trying to say that, oh, like we provide you with users, but really you just want to take our users. So why should I pay you for you to then poach my users and get all of the money? And so they're getting attacked from every which way now, and I think that's the writing on the wall for them, at least in terms of this space. Like this digital selling space is not, I don't think it's going to work out for them the way that they thought it would. But it's their only revenue source because, like you said, like I have one of the newest iPhones and it did not come with the charging brick. I was like, really? This phone costs way too much to not have a charging brick in the case, in the box.
You're spending way too much for like then an additional 20 or more. Just like, no, thank you. Especially like, what if, I don't know, I guess it's like if you just order it ahead of time, but like most people probably are just like ordering it, not ordering accessories too. Yeah. And then it's like you're going to get the phone and then you're like, wait a minute, I can't do anything with it now. Like I can't charge it if it dies. So now you have to like run around and like go get a charger, which is like, we are, you know, in this situation. It is not great. So now you have to wait a couple days or anything just to order it. But I'll just say, this is why I don't use Apple anymore. I don't use Apple products. They have just, you know, clearly like their greed is just really showing, and like this is just another showcase of it, and they're just trying to be like, I don't know, especially when it comes like to attacking games specifically, how we were talking about like, oh, like they have R-rated movies and like you can obviously get to R-rated things and very explicit things easily. It's just like, oh, because it's gaming, it's kind of just like, oh no, like gaming should be for kids, right? And it's just always like such a situation that's like really interesting when it comes to like, oh my God, explicit games. It's like, yeah, there's explicit anything.
Right.
But why does it have to be this is now the one that you want to attack? And you're clear, like we said, clearly losing. Like you have to. There's nothing really, I guess, kind of redeemable, I guess might be my word that I'm looking for. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's nothing really like saving them in this argument, really.
Yeah, I think greed is the right word for sure, as far as like the mobile audience is so huge already. They could have just literally been like, you know what, let's take slightly less of a cut and please the gaming partners that we have, because our audience isn't going to go anywhere. If anything, this is going to show them that we're the good guy and that we're negotiating with people, so it's going to look good on us, and therefore they would make more money. But instead they're trying to be like, oh no, just, subscribe to our Apple Arcade moment where, you can trust all the games that we put on there, which is like cute. You can still do that. Like Google has their own thing too, where they're like, they have their own subscription service, and it's like, but I don't know. I just feel like they're just being too greedy as far as like, we want our own things and also everyone else's 30% of what they make. And yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I think that even making it 25%, I feel for some cases would be like better. And it would have been enough and they would have still made millions. So
oh yeah,
Apple, please.
They're not hurt for money. Absolutely not.
Right.
No, it's just they just want to be in control of everything in their products, and they've been that way. That's why I've never wanted to buy their products. The only thing I have is like movies, and that's only because it's on Movies Anywhere, which is like there's a few movies to where if you buy it there, it goes to multiple platforms like iPhones, Vudu, Microsoft, YouTube, whatever. So otherwise, I don't buy anything off their platforms because it's just they just want to do that all the time, and now you have Epic coming in and they want to do their thing, and Apple's just clearly losing that, and they give like a real bogus reason. I mean, I don't know, maybe they're hoping that people, I guess the judges who don't pay attention on this will like fall for that silly stuff, which I mean, to be completely honest, considering how many times I've seen issues with gaming over the years, I wouldn't be surprised if someone believed that nonsense. I mean, honestly, so I can't blame them for attempting it, but it's like, no, y'all are gonna probably lose this one. And like Epic is no small company. I'm like, they make the Unreal Engine that a lot of
most people use.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I love how itch.io is handling this though. Like,
oh yeah,
I love them.
Iconic.
Like there's that tweet about turning off all the games, and then they're also renaming their sensitive content filter to be titled Unspeakable Games.
I love them so much.
Yes. Please.
Iconic behavior.
Iconic behavior spotted, truly. I just thought that was so funny. They're just like, we have these unspeakable games. Here's a category for them.
Oh my gosh.
That's incredible.
To peruse all the unspeakable games you want. That just made me so happy.
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, y'all. Oh, that's so good. Well, speaking of Epic and their interactions with other big companies.
Ooh.
So Sony and their hatred of crossplay, which we all know.
Yeah.
Basically, it's been revealed that the whole time Sony just didn't want crossplay to happen and said no. And Epic is the only reason that it happened. They basically forced them and said, Fortnite is the biggest game on your system, and if you don't let us have crossplay, your system will tank. And we saw what happened. People were pissed.
Angry.
Wild. And like the fact that more games have been able to get it, yet it's still relatively limited on PlayStation, is interesting. But there's like basically a story where back like in 2018 when Sony blocked Fortnite, Epic basically sent them a letter saying, we love to work with you and we want this to be a win-win. But as this continues to go on, we only see a scenario where we get what we want and you don't.
Ooh.
And I was like,
whale.
Oh, whale.
Yeah. Whale.
It's a power move. But like, it's one that Epic can do because, like, I mean, it's Fortnite.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Right. Like, I can't blame them because here's the thing: like, Sony literally blocked crossplay for Rocket League and Minecraft, two of the biggest games at the time, and then Fortnite came along and literally was so big and had introduced crossplay on other platforms already. For you to then turn around and say, we're not going to let people play this. I'm like, your player base does want to play with other people as much as you think they only want to play with people on PlayStation.
Yeah.
They have friends who play on other platforms, and you thinking that this isn't going to work for you. So they were able to push Sony. This is why I mentioned earlier, like Epic has the ability to push big companies to do what they want. And so this is very reminiscent of what's happening right now with Apple.
Right.
So what do you guys think about this?
To me, I mean, I've always been more for crossplay because I don't feel like this should be something that we have to argue about. And I was hoping that Sony over the years, become more with it, but they still can't stand it. It's not, and that's not even the only issue. In the same article, it's mentioned like how pretty much, and they're the only ones who do this, mind you, is that the developers, like those publishers, also have to pay for this. So there's like
to be able to be crossplay.
Yeah. There's a cross-platform revenue share, and this is just an example. Let's say the cross-platform revenue is $1 million. The PlayStation Network revenue would be $900,000. Then the PlayStation revenue share is 90%. Oh my God, this math! I'm sorry. The PlayStation gameplay share is 95%. So because they made that much, 90%, they won't have to pay as much. But let's say the next month, not the entire time, the next month. Let's say the PlayStation Network revenue share is $600,000 a month out of the 1 million. That means that for that month, the company has to pay $52,500. No one does this. Nintendo and Microsoft does not do this. And this came out, I don't even know how this even came out during the whole issue with Epic and Apple. But it's kind of like, on top of them just being so against it, you actually charged for this? Like, what? Why? This is like downright garbage. Because like we're playing the exact same game. Your platform is not that much different. They'll try to give you a whole bunch of technical stuff, but let's just be real. PlayStation and Xbox ain't that different. It hasn't been for like a long time. Right. So we're playing the same game. Why can't we play together with other people? There's no reason for that not to be. Now they do feel that because of this, when crossplay is a thing, there'll be less people buying on their platform. I mean, a little bit, because usually people will always get PlayStation because that's where their friends are. So if you're someone like me, and let's say I have all of them, I would more than likely get the Xbox Series X version because I know it'll more than likely have better performance, better resolution, et cetera, et cetera. But if I was a person who's like, okay, but all my friends are on PlayStation, well, then you got to go over there. So then Microsoft looked, oh my goodness. Sony looked at this like that's kind of a loss. So that's why they wanted the companies to pay for it. This is why I can't stand Sony sometimes. I'm just being honest. I really can't.
It's wild.
Honestly.
Like, I just don't understand. I don't get it.
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
like, I'm sorry.
It's disappointing, but not surprising.
Yeah.
That's basically all I thought. It's like, yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
That was all basically all I thought about it. You go ahead, Pants. Sorry.
I know. I'm not like gonna be like, I love Sony, but like as somebody who's just been like avid on Sony's products a lot, it's just like over the years they've kind of always just like, thrown us kind of under the bus a lot. We've always kind of just even the fan base itself, it's always just kind of been like, I feel like they don't look at sometimes their viewer bit, like the players that actually use their software. They're just like, you know what we think? And it's like, no. As we've seen for like many of the things, especially this year, besides this, of course, like the Vita store and the PlayStation 3 store, like all the PSN stores, like they at least finally listen to people. But it's just like, it's been really annoying to just kind of be like, oh, there's like clearly things that I want to do with other people on different platforms, and thankfully I have like a PC for like some of that. Yeah. But there's still like there's friends on PlayStation who are like stuck in this, and I can't be like, You know, sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to play on my PlayStation. Maybe sometimes I want to play on like this platform, which I think is really nice about cross-platform and everything. It's just like, oh, if I want to play on this, then I can still like be able to play with my friends in a way for like most games that I play. And then it's like instead now I have to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I would love to play with you, but there's been so many times where it's like, I would love to play with you, but I don't feel like, you know, maybe buying the game again or
Yeah.
anything. So I, you know, I just wish Sony would actually like, you know, listen to people. And I'm glad, like, at least Epic, like you said, is just like, they got the power. But I'm hoping, like, you know, with other companies and everything, it's just like, why are you having them pay for that? Like, it shouldn't be that option. It should just be like, let them do their thing, let it be open, you know, and then let people play with others. Because, like, people are going to still want to play on their PlayStation with other people.
Yeah.
And that's fine. You're not going to lose a
Yeah.
lot of people because you let it, you know, you like leave it
Right,
open.
right.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
at this point, people have people. Yes, people. Like, I am a person who's probably not going to go buy a PlayStation, mainly because I am used to playing on Xbox. But I have friends who play on PlayStation, and there are certain games that I would like to play with them. And if a game comes out, and then you're like, well, they're like, oh, well, this is a new game, so it costs a little too much for us to be able to do that. So we can't do cross-platform because Sony wants to charge us. It's like, okay, unless they specifically play on PC or Switch, or, you know, I'm like, you can even play like certain games cross-play with mobile at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And Sony is still doing this thing of like forcing people to pay to play, basically, and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that was gonna be my main thing. Is like people are still gonna get like PlayStation, and people are still gonna invest in games in that platform. And oftentimes I feel like the lack of crossplay almost punishes someone for picking PlayStation over another platform, right? Because like.
Mm-hmm.
How many people, when Fall Guys came out, they were like, oh, I have my little PlayStation, let me download, and then they couldn't play with their friends because they were over on PC. You know what I mean? Like, that feels like you're getting punished for choosing PlayStation. So then, yeah, maybe down the line, maybe the next game that comes out, they're not going to choose PlayStation. I feel like that would be my train of thought of like, yeah, I mean, if you're not going to allow them to play with their friends now, next time there's a multiplayer game, they're going to buy it on PC. And how many of us have done that, right? Where like, it doesn't matter which platform, right? But how many of us have been like, oh, let me get this game on PC just in case there's no cross-platform anytime soon. Because a lot of the times they're like, there's going to be cross-platform at some point, but you never know when or how many months or years, or if the game is still going to be popular, or if you even going to play this game in by then. So that's kind of a thing as well. Like, honestly, just like Sony or literally any of the platforms has the power to kind of negotiate something and be like, okay, we can have crossplay, but in order to get people over here, how about, you know, there's like a skin from one of our exclusive properties, right? And for example, if you want to play Fall Guys on Xbox, if they had a little Halo skin, then people would be interested in getting that. Or if you know, with Among Us, they got the Ratchet and Clank, you know, aesthetics for the characters, and it's like, if the game is cross-platform, which I think it's gonna be, like, you're not punishing people. If anything, you're giving them incentive to choose PlayStation by being like, hey, we have a cute outfit. So just like work on that side of things rather than being like, oh no, you just gotta pay us more or whatever. Like, no, like strike a balanced deal of like, yeah, if you're gonna have your game over here, we also need to have something like either, you know, on PlayStation Plus or Game Pass, or like any deal that makes sense for both parties for it to be a win-win situation. But yeah, the lack of crossplay is very anti-consumer, and it's not great. No matter how you look at it, it's not great because, yeah, people just want to play games however and whenever they want, y'all. Like, they don't. You know, if they love your platform, they're going to get games on your platform. But if they have other choices, let them have other choices. You know, imagine that. Not having a monopoly. Imagine that. Having, you know,
Imagine.
a healthy marketplace. Imagine that.
Imagine,
Monopoly,
honestly.
we don't know her. Not
Oh my god.
Not
I
in
was just,
corporate
I was just
America.
actually thinking about this while we were talking about it. Because like I feel like not having crossplay like directly affects the user experience in games, like especially I was thinking about Fortnite as an example. Because like if you have that crossplay, then your lobbies are going to fill way faster because you're pulling people from all the platforms.
Yeah.
So why would you not want to give people a better user experience on your platform? Like, how is that incentivizing you to play on PlayStation? It's like, oh, if I get this on PlayStation, I can't play with my friends, and my load times are longer because like it takes longer for them to fill lobbies. Like, I'm not going to get it on PlayStation then. Like, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to them, they just probably don't care as much. And PlayStation, unfortunately, gets the most of the player base, which, like, for especially when it comes to like almost anything, but like fighting games is a perfect example, which is unfortunate, is that PlayStation will always be where they go. Even if a game is like dying out, like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite had kind of went south pretty quick, but you have a better chance of finding people on PlayStation more than like Xbox or PC. And it's like if you put them together, it's easier to find people. And that's the same issue that, well, it's hard to say if it's an issue because like Guilty Gear Strive is about to come out next month. It's going to be on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC, but it's not going to have crossplay at the start. Arc System Games did mention there's something they wanted to look into, but it would take time. Now we know why. And it's like, so it's going to make it harder for people to play together. And if it's games that's like, smaller, not as, big as like Call of Duty and all that, but just has a smaller player base, it helps them play the games even, longer. Yeah. Because people, especially when it comes to like games that people really like fighting games, people will keep playing those for a long time as long as there's people to play with and the online is good. Like that's why you still like if you look at people still play like old games to this day. Yeah. To this day, from the 90s, if it has good online. So to keep everyone together is good for the communities, but Sony is more so looking at it to know, okay, but how does it affect them? They want more people to buy it on theirs, especially day one. I can't say I'm surprised with that because Sony is kind of, in a way, has always kind of been a dick ever since PlayStation 2 era.
Honestly,
when you really think about it and how they were to like devs at the time, like imagine like they're trying to release a game in there and they're like, yo, figure that out yourself. They were kind of like that, and then PS3 came around and they screwed up on that one.
Yeah, they dropped the
like
ball
almost the entire time, and then PlayStation 4 they got it right, and now they're kind of just being like the same way. So it's kind of like I don't know. They're looking at it more from money, and unfortunately they make a lot, and they financially they don't have to. That's the thing that sucks. Financially, they don't. It would be good for us, the player base, but people are going to play on PlayStation anyway. Yeah. They have been. So they don't have much of an incentive to change. And it comes down to like developers. And they're not going to want to just release, just leave Sony out completely because that may, ruin the relationship with that. Right. That's one thing I did appreciate about the Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, because they eventually did do crossplay. And originally when they first did it, I think for like the first month or so, it wasn't on PlayStation because PlayStation didn't want it. They're like, we're just going to put it on these, which I would hope the rest of them do. Like if Sony, they're not going to, but I will hope that if Sony's not on board, screw them, put it on everything else.
And I'm just going to also add like, because every system basically has their own like pay for online play. It's just like, think about it this way. If you have cross-platform and cross-play, like people who want to do, couch, like play on their couch, basically is how I always see as consoles. Is like sometimes I'm just like, I want to just sit on my couch or lay on my couch and play some games. So like I will be more inclined to pay for your service for me to play online if I can play with like all my friends. But if I can only play with a certain group, I'm probably not going to be buying your service. I'm really going to just be playing my single player games, which is fine. But like, if you want people to buy your service or anything, especially that you have it, more people are going to be inclined to do that if you have crossplay. I feel like if
Yeah.
you want more money, like that's going to be how you get it, not through having people pay just to even have a cross platform, you know? Like
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be better and
Very
probably
true.
smarter for them to think of it as that way, where it's just like you will get money. People
Right.
still give you money no matter what, but people are going to be more inclined to like give you money if I can play, like you said, even like fighting games. I buy my fighting games on PlayStation because I don't know, I feel like I don't know how to play it on my PC too, and I don't have Xbox yet. But it's just like I would like to play with other people, but like sometimes the lobbies are like only good the day one sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Well.
Yeah.
Well,
Why don't we move on to a topic that Pants brought us? Pants, do you want to
Yeah.
present that?
Yes.
So I am a lover of the Yakuza games, and the studios also announced Lost Judgment, so the second Judgment game, and they also said that Yakuza, as it keeps going, is going to stay as turn-based, as we saw in Like a Dragon, which I absolutely loved. I love the turn-based aspect that they brought in, and then also Judgment is going to stay as that action-based that we've seen before. So it's really exciting. I really want to talk about just like the aspect of like the turn base. I don't know if everybody's played it, but like I really like that they brought that in, and it was like it fit with the characters. But I also read before like they already knew that they wanted to do turn base before they even created Ichi, who like the whole aspect of him was just like, oh, I love Dragon Quest and like all these turn-based things, so it like made sense because he was like already like this person who loved it, and he was just like, you know, it was kind of like his imagination sometimes with the fights. And I just loved the aspect because it's just like it added a new flavor. It gave you like some party members, which was really interesting. And like the series is already like so fun and so campy that it was just like adding this extra aspect and being like, oh, now I can actually do like more RPG elements into this, and it's not just like a beat 'em up, which I still love, but it gives you like some more aspects. It kind of makes it a little bit, I feel like a little bit more accessible for people. I don't know, like I love beat 'em ups and stuff, but like sometimes I feel like just having like the turn base also helps. And then also because they've introduced, like they've done for Judgment, is now also having English voice acting too. On top of that, I think has also helped the series a lot more. I still do like the Japanese voices just because I'm used to it, but like it's really nice that they've been like expanding and they've been trying some new things and getting like more people into this game series, because now they have both options for you if you're looking for something that's more more action based and everything. Then you have that. If you want something that's like turn based, that you have that too, and it still has like the same elements as all the other Yakuza games. It's just like, hey, now we're gonna just keep doing turn-based gaming onto this because it worked, and it worked really well.
Yeah. I've never played any of the Yakuza games before, but I feel like if I was going to, I would want to start with like a dragon, because like I tend to really like turn-based RPGs, and like I've heard so many good things about that game. So I think I actually like might want to start with that one, as long as I wouldn't be too confused like narratively.
I will definitely say you won't, because it's like it's a whole new story too, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So they added like whole new characters. It's still kind of in the same kind of world, but still new characters and everything. So you don't have to know anything beforehand. And like honestly, I've had like debates, well, not debates, but I've talked about it with my friends a couple times who are also really into it, and we've always been just like a Dragon is really good. Like I feel like I love the characters a little bit more because they got to like really work on that, and then also the turn base is just like so much fun. Like I get to have now a woman in my party too, and like it's just like all these like always has been like a great group of just like misfits almost, but like now I get to have like a woman who gets to like smack people around, and she's already like great in general too. And like now I have like a party of 4, and it feels like dungeon crawler sometimes, and I'm like, this is so much fun, and it still has the same fun like elements.
I love that. Yeah, I like that they're like keeping the same style for Judgment too, for like people who like still want that and like still want to play a game that's like that. So I think that'll be fun.
Yeah.
I immediately kind of thought of like me and my partner Sturbrew, because like Sturbrew has like 100 hours in Judgment. He's like obsessed with that game. So I know he's gonna be super excited when Lost Judgment comes out.
Yes.
And like I can be playing like the turn-based one.
Right? I think
That'll
that's
be
so
a
much
cute
fun.
moment.
Yeah.
It'd be adorable. And speaking of Judgment too, like I think the story was like, from what it seemed, was like you're kind of like going undercover at a high school or something. And I was like, this is giving me
God.
like 21 Jump Street kind of vibes.
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna be
that.
like, hello, my fellow kids, with my skateboard and like trying to
Fellow
do ollies.
Not this.
Which they actually
God.
did show too. Like you actually get to do skateboarding. And I was like, well, I'm sold here too. 'Cause
Yes.
you
Oh
add that
my
aspect,
God.
I'm here for it.
Oh my god, that's gonna be so fun.
Yes.
That's awesome. I wonder if they saw like a gap in the market as far as like AAA turn-based RPGs, because everything is turning into action-based. So I wonder if especially they were like what 6-7 games into the series, they were probably like, let's change it around with Like a Dragon, and then they saw how well it was received. So, and I'm sure they weren't just gonna throw away this turn-based system that they created, but I wonder if they had conversations of like, do we continue a spin-off series that is turn-based if it doesn't get like super well received, or do we transition it into the main one? And because it got received so well, they're like, well, let's just transition that into the main one and have our spin-off be for like the old school fans, with that fighting style or gameplay style. So I think that's cute. I definitely think that's super cute. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like they probably gained a lot of new fans with Yakuza Like a Dragon, because it's not a numbered series, and I feel like with so many games there's just a lot of like, there's still people to this day who haven't gotten into Final Fantasy, for example, because they're like, oh, they're already on like the 16th game is gonna come out, like, oh, I feel like I have so much to catch up on, and they don't know that each game is a separate entity, and they don't have to, like, that's not their problem. That's that's on the companies to market their games in a way where they make it clear that their game is for everyone and anyone. But with Yakuza, I can see that being a thing where like, oh, it's on their 6th game. Ooh, I see a lot of games that I need to get to before I get there, so let me not. Instead, they were like, hey, here's a new protagonist and a new gameplay style. Is that something you're into? And people were like, yeah.
It's a smart move. It's a very smart move.
Absolutely. Also, there's only so much you can say about this one character, so it makes sense that they would wrap up a story about this main character and then get a new protagonist and then continue from there. I think it makes perfect sense for them to do that. I'm definitely intrigued about Like a Dragon. I definitely want to play that at some point. Absolutely.
Yeah. For
I
sure.
haven't gotten to Like a Dragon yet. I'm still trying to go through the series. So I've played 0, 1, 2, 3, and I'm on 4. And I mean, personally, I like the more action. I like it being more active more than turn-based. So I haven't played Like a Dragon yet to see how I feel about it. But I mean, if that's the way they want to go about it, I wouldn't have an issue with it, so far until I play it myself. As for Judgment, I have not played it. They don't have it on PC. It's on Stadia. That don't count. And was it Lost Judgment? As of right now, they don't have a plan to bring that to PC. So Sega has broken my heart again.
Not this.
It's like I have to like get through the rest of them anyway. As for Like a Dragon, I think making the change was, I mean, it was definitely a good one. Because the thing is, while it's not it's not numbered over here. In Japan, it's actually still called Yakuza 7. So they just
Interesting.
they changed it because you don't have to play the other games. There's going to be certain, Easter eggs and things like that, but it's like you don't have to because going through all these games takes a lot of time. I mean, you can just go through them, but then there's the side missions, and that takes hours. Like in 3, you kind of have to because they block a lot in that game, so you need to level up. Oh my goodness!
Well,
So I think them starting with a fresh one with this one is a pretty good idea because it makes it to where new people can get into it. It's in English. Some people don't care to read subtitles. A new style for people who may like that. And then if you do like the older action style, then there's another series that's with that. And it's good to see that they're going to keep, making another one of that. So it's not like it wasn't just a one and done. So, I mean, I don't know. So far, they're just, doing just pretty good. And it's good to see the series, doing well because a lot of people didn't play it before. I was one of them. And I'm very upset still at my friends for not telling me on how great the series was.
well.
So I'm glad I kind of waited. I'm glad I waited to play 0. Like, I honestly would have definitely preferred to play 0 before 1. Like, I wouldn't change that for anything because it just made understanding the relationships between 1 and then the ending. I understood it more and it just felt like it had more weight than just going in with 1 and then being like, so why is he like this? Why are they this close? And you go back to play 0. I'm like, oh. And then you get to the end, like, this is actually breaking my heart.
Oh, 0 is so good. It's probably still my favorite from the series.
Oh, it is. Like, the thing is, it draws you in so hard. I'm like the side stuff, but this story is like, oh, this is good. This is really good.
That's awesome. That's so awesome when you play a game like that.
Right.
And like we just said, like, I'm just really excited because I feel like a lot of my friends and a lot of people, like acquaintances and everything, have just gotten into like a dragon because it's just like, oh, now, like we said, you don't have to like go through the whole story, but now it also kind of like has brought more people on now that they're like, oh, I really liked Like a Dragon. I kind of want to check out the rest of this series, and now that they've been putting those on PC, which I'm like, thank God, but like, Like a Dragon was on PC, but like, come on, put Judgment on there too. I'm glad that they've like at least slowly started putting that onto PC as well. I'm just really excited. I've loved the series. I'm really excited to see what they're gonna keep doing, and they're making the right choices here. And it's been nice because I know at first a lot of people were like turn-based in my Yakuza game when they announced it, and then like people saw it more and we were like, oh wait, like this is actually really cool. And then once you play it, you're like, oh, this actually works really well together.
Yeah. That was like big brain marketing on their part. Absolutely. Because like Yakuza fans were like, oh, this is just a spin-off, I guess, I'll give it a chance. And then they fell in love with it and they were like, got you. Little did you know, this was actually a sequel, but we renamed it here to trick y'all, which I love. I think that was a very big brain marketing move on their end, and it worked, obviously. So props to Sega for that. That's amazing how they pulled that off. Speaking of games that we're loving and we're enjoying, let's like quickly go down the line and talk about what games we've been playing these days and such. So we can start with Jam over on top, and then we go down the line.
Resident Evil 8. It's
Ooh.
What system are you playing on?
Xbox.
Iconic. How far into it are you? Tell us everything. We need to know.
Not that far. It's beautiful though. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's wonderful. Everyone should play it. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
I love it. I'm about to buy it later. I'm still debating on what I want to buy it on so far.
Ooh.
But I've been like, oh, I want to try it because I was like, oh, the haptics on PS5, but then I've been like, but PC I can mod.
Oh yeah.
And that's that.
And you can probably get it like on sale somewhere. I'm sure there's a website that's not selling it at full price too. So
you can get it for like $50 right now on like Green Man Gaming and whatnot. So
Yeah.
Love that. Love that.
Suddenly.
Suddenly we all have the game. What about you, Koga?
So of course I've been playing Dokkan Battle. Yes. Just keeping it short on this one. Golden Week celebration been pretty good, probably the best in the game so far. They released a bunch of new units and they're like all good, as in across the board they're just good. The global version handled it weirdly because it's a joint celebration with JP and Global. And JP, there's like, okay, this is what's happening. This is the announcements of what's coming. Global didn't really do that. And like they made an announcement on Twitter like 2 hours after the units arrived in the game. And they said upcoming units. So we're like, they've been out for 2 hours. And then there's like a bunch of other stuff that was supposed to be coming out for the event. And for the longest time, until literally yesterday, we thought we weren't even getting some of it because they just didn't announce it until like, all right. So in the end, we ended up getting everything, but they just announced it weirdly. And it's kind of like, I don't know who their social person is, but they need to fix that. But at least besides that, it turned out to be good overall. And then it's Goku Day, which is actually technically tomorrow. They started that celebration, which is in joint with it. So on global, Dokkan has honestly been kind of bad this year, but it's starting to just really pick up because we're behind JP, of course. And JP has been on like absolute fire since the beginning of this year. So we're getting to that point starting now and then like next month when the anniversary is. I've been playing also Sound Voltex. For Golden Week, they had 2 of their song packs on sale. That was 50% off. Not the rest of them, unfortunately. So I'll do about $60 for 60 songs, which isn't that bad. I have to go through all of them. And then supposed to be getting 20 more this month. So I'm still going through that. I've been going on and off a few things because, of course, I have, this Oculus thing here. Yeah. So I downloaded this program called Vorpex. Vorpex allows you to play PC games in VR. Now, unfortunately, some people learn the hard way. This doesn't work well with every game. It would be obvious, but people didn't. You have to pay $40 for it, unfortunately. But I was able to get Fear, that old game that came out 2005. Working on it. Oh my god, it's pretty scary. It works pretty well. I know it works okay with Resident Evil 7, but some update ruined that. And then we get to the part that has me waiting to why I haven't played Resident Evil Village yet. So someone actually managed with the demo to get it working a little bit. For some reason on PC, they didn't put a field of view slider in. So there's a mod for that now. So I'm just waiting a little bit to see if they can make it at least decent. It's probably not going to be the best thing ever because it's not going to be as great as a native VR game. Yeah. But from my experience, with Fear, they managed to do it with that. And it's it feels like you're there. There's depth, so it's not like a screen. But as of right now, they're probably working on that for Village. So I'm going to wait a little bit to see maybe because I'm still upset that there's no VR version of that game for some reason.
Right.
Right.
I would love to see, Miss Tall Lady over here just stomping after me in VR.
You just look up.
Yes, please and thank you. Yes, please and thank you.
I want to wait because, like I said, my first experience with Resident Evil 7 was in VR, and it was just such an amazing experience. And it's you can't get that again, going through the game, and then okay, I'm gonna put on VR. It's not the same. Yeah. So I would prefer if possible, but who knows? Because again, it doesn't natively support it, so it could be wonky. I tried it with Resident Evil 7, and it doesn't. When I've pressed the analog, it doesn't go up and down. I have to probably tinker with it a little bit, but there's certain things that are kind of off. But it's not terrible, but I have to fix things here and there. But that's mostly what I've done for the majority of the week is just mess around with that. And unfortunately also learned that my VR legs need work because I tried Fear for a half hour and I'm okay, my tum-tum is starting to feel a little bit woozy. It's time to turn this off for a little bit.
Yeah.
The tum-tum.
The tum-tum.
Yes, my tum-tum.
The motion sickness will get Gotcha.
And how about you, Pants? What have you been into?
Oh my goodness. So I've been still playing some Nier Replicant because I want to take my time with it.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite game series ever, and I'm really excited because I played Gestalt, which was just named Nier before here. So there was just two versions to give a rundown really quick. There was Papa Nier, as we call him, which was the one that we got only here. And then they have Brother Nier, which is Replicant, because they were like, you know what the West needs? They love their father-daughter. They love their like big burly men, which is true. But they're
Checks
like
out.
yeah, it was like checks out. But they're like the West is gonna love this because at first it was just gonna be Brother Nier, and both are still great. So I've been like slowly taking my time on that. I finally got to part 2, but it's been really nice to relive everything and also see the new changes that they've been having, which has been really nice. They've been kind of alluding to their other games, especially Drakengard, which is like, we wouldn't have Nier or Automata without Drakengard, to be honest. So it's been really nice to do that. And then my other favorite has been, I've been trying to get everybody into it slowly, but I've been playing a lot of Identity 5, which is a mobile game, but also you can play on PC. And it's like DBD, but way cuter.
Ooh.
Yes, it's got the kind of Coraline aesthetic. So, like a lot of the survivors, there's 30 of them. There's going to be 31 because one is coming out in when season 16, right? Season 16 starts. And they all have like the cute little button eyes, like Coraline. They're very much like look like stuffed characters almost because they have sometimes a little bit of the stuffing coming out and everything. But it's really cute because instead of like, you know, getting hooked or anything, you get like put on a chair.
Oh.
And then if you've been like chaired too much, it like rockets off.
I'm in love with that.
I kind of love
And,
that.
like, there's a lot of like diversity in it too, with like at least different skin tones. They've also been showing like a lot of different able-bodied and everything too. So there's like a character who's who uses a wheelchair. I love her. She's my favorite. She's one of the hunters, and she's the best, honestly.
Ooh.
So
I
we have
download
that.
now.
And it's free to play. You can play it on your PC. And they're actually they've been doing a lot of collabs with it too. So I think at the end of the month they're going to do a Death Note collab, and I'm really excited for that.
Ooh.
Yes, because I believe the Chinese version got Detective Conan, and they were like kind of teasing it over in, you know, North America, but they were just like, oh, just kidding, like it's gonna still stay there, so I guess we get we get Death Note, which is like, I mean, I'm not mad about it. I love it. I want to run around as Elle and shout at my teammates that I'm like, don't move, I'm coming, as they're like on the chair. But it's really cute, and it's got such cute little, you know, aesthetics too, and everything, like, and they've definitely pulled from like different cultures sometimes too, and like also like other, like real life people too, so you can actually like read up on like some of the people in a way, like not fully like taken from it, but it is kind of like, oh, like, hey, we got like inspiration from like this real life icon, like literally Bloody Mary is there, and it's like we got her, she is a queen.
Well.
Literally. But like, yeah, it's really cool. I love it. It's been my favorite. I play it almost nearly every day because ranking always starts at like 7 p.m. Eastern, and I'm like there trying to do some ranking. And then sometimes they just like, because of I know there's like a character's birthday, and they'll do like cute little things where it's just like, oh, happy birthday, this character, like happy character day, and like, oh, play some rounds with like this character, and they'll let them be free if you don't have them, which you can just use like in-game currency and stuff. And it's really cute. And they just had their esports.
Oh.
which was I didn't expect to be so intense. It was fun to watch. They have to play on mobile, which was wild to watch.
Oh.
Right? I
Interesting.
was like, oh my god, it was so funny to see like because sometimes they were on webcam or like some of them were actually there, and it was like actually in a big stadium, and they had dancing in the
God.
beginning, and I was like, iconic.
I love that. I think you've succeeded in selling this game to us, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm so happy. Oh,
Just Gaming Tingz Identity 5 stream when like
Honestly,
honestly.
probably.
Ooh, that would be
Please,
cute.
they have- I will keep selling it. I'll just say that they have, as an ending thing, they have also like a lot of cute game modes in it. So there's not just like the typical like 4v1 and everybody's running around just doing like they have the ciphers instead. They have dual hunters, which is wild.
Ooh.
So you can have 2 hunters, 8 survivors. They have a running mode, which is actually gonna end soon, I believe. But it was actually like you just like are running on a map, and you get to do. I think it's like 2 laps, and you're just running, and you have like you can get items to like sabotage other people to, or like help you kind of get in the lead. So there's like that kind of fun mode. They have tarot, which is one of my favorites. It's 4v4. One person's the hunter. They're like the knight, and they're trying to get the other team's king, which is like one of their survivors. And then there's 2 squires who are like trying to help and make sure like the hunter doesn't get the king. So it's like a lot of
That's
fun and a lot of
cute.
screaming. Right? And then there's blackjack, which I have not really played because it seems a little too much, but it is.
Love that.
It's kind of it's kind of cute. It's literally just blackjack, but I think you choose like a survivor and you have like a hunter in case it like chooses you as the hunter. And the only thing is like, oh, if you finish a cipher, I think you get a card, and like if the hunter knocks you down though, like they can like swap cards with you. And then it's like, oh, if you go over 21, you know, then you're just knocked out of the game. So it seems it seems really intense. But I was like, oh, that's cute that they've been trying to like add all these cute little game modes in that people can play.
Right? I'm like Dead by Daylight. I hope she's shaking and quaking over there because she has like
Maybe.
2 or 3 whole game modes and they're basically the same. Yeah, I haven't really, my gaming experiences haven't been that exciting. I've been up to some First Class Trouble, which is always a blast, always super chaotic. I may or may not have played with Pants before, and it's always a moment. I adore that game. It's so chaotic and so fun. It's basically like Among Us, but set in the 50s and more chaotic and cuter in my opinion, because the 50s aesthetic, so cute. But yeah, other than that, I haven't really been doing a lot of gaming, but I did celebrate my birthday over this past week on Animal Crossing. It was so cute. Turns out, you know, the only the villagers you have a closest relationship with you will throw a surprise party, which threw me. And then I went after Pietro and I was like, what's up with that? And Pietro was like, well, you haven't spoken to me in a while, clown. And I was like, you're right. So he still gave me a gift, but turns out Pietro dragged me on my birthday. And to that I say thank you, honestly. But yeah, what about you, Spin? What have you been up to?
Oh my god, this week has been just so busy for me because like I had my second COVID vaccine and I like had a big launch in my shop and I was just like, ooh. So I've been doing all kinds of stuff. Not that many gaming things outside of stream, but on stream, I've been playing Final Fantasy 13 and last night I did a stream of it and it was action packed. Like
Right.
we did like 2 big bosses and made a ton of progress. And I was like at a point where I'd like kind of over leveled, so we were zooming and I was just like, we are experiencing this story.
Oh, we zoom in.
We're zooming.
Going to Baskin
Love
Robbins.
that.
We are going straight to Baskin Robbins, no detours. But yeah, I'm really having a lot of fun with that. Like I've played Final Fantasy 13 like a ton. I've played it several times. but I've like loved experiencing it with everyone and like being able to share it with everyone because like I feel like 13 is like really polarizing and like being somebody who actually likes 13 is interesting. Like I get to like kind of show people the magic of 13 that they may not have let themselves see
Right.
because of public opinion about it. But it's been so fun. And I've gotten to a point where I'm gonna have to do quite a bit of grinding before next Final Fantasy 13 stream. So
10 more hours of grinding and then a lot of zooming.
It'll be better this time because I don't have to go back and forth through a door for 10 hours like I did last time. That was a
we hate to see
it. Journey.
We hate to see it. But since you're already talking about streaming, where can people find you and do all that fun stuff?
Oh my god. You can see me grinding for 10 hours on Final Fantasy 13.
No,
don't worry, the grinding's not on stream. But you can watch that playthrough at twitch.tv/spinblend. I'm also Spinblend on Twitter and TikTok. And I also have a soap shop called Spin Soap Cafe. The aforementioned big launch I just released was a coffee-scented body butter. So that's been fun. That's been fun to like kind of branch out into non-soap products, and I want to kind of do more of that in the future.
Iconic behavior.
Yeah, that was last week. The rest of May is just so jam-packed for me. Literally next Friday, like less than a week from now, I'm gonna be having my like VTuber debut and also like my drag debut.
Yeah, 2-in-1, honey. 2-in-1.
That's gonna be the debut of Linblend. We're gonna be playing the Famicom Detective Club release for Switch. That's gonna be on the 14th, and then the last week of the month, I'm going to be part of a big fundraiser for Project Hope to help with the COVID-19 crisis in India.
Iconic.
Love that.
What about you, Ruby?
You can find me everywhere at Project Ruby. All my links are projectruby.eu, my little website. You can find my latest YouTube video on there. You can find my Twitch streams if I happen to be live. All the ways you can support me, all of that fun stuff. Yeah. I stream like 3 times a week. I'm getting very close to the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake, so we're gonna be experiencing that on stream. So that should be fun, as well as like some indies and some new releases that if I happen to snatch a code here and there for, I always do my first impressions. So teehee. What about you, Pants? Where can people find you? All your links and such.
Yes, you can find me at PantsTresBien on Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok. I have been thinking about starting a YouTube, but I'm not sure yet. But I'm definitely most active on the Twitter as well. I stream a variety of games. Next week is gonna be iffy because I'm getting my second shot Wednesday, so who knows how that's gonna go. But on stream we've been doing Identity 5, a Nier Replicant, and also like occasionally Demon Souls, but that's like once in a month it feels, because I just get so jittery after like finishing a boss. I'm like adrenaline is like going through the roof and I'm like shaking, so I'm like, I cannot play this too often.
Right.
But we're slowly going through that and it's been a fun time. But yes, how about you? Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Koga was just vibing.
Where can we find you?
You can find me here on Twitch and Twitter at Koga_Jangles. I'm going to be coming back to streaming this upcoming week. I've had a weird week, to say the least. So I wanted to do 8, but I'm trying to hold off to wait. So I didn't do the DLC to 7, so I kind of wanted to do that. I've also been trying to set up like to do VR, not when I'm sitting but standing, so I had to like get that set up with some weird mic that's actually kind of trash. But see, because I do want to play Five Nights at Freddy's VR. I never completed that, and hopefully this game doesn't give me a whole heart attack, even when I know when things are coming. But so yeah, I'm not sure about tomorrow because tomorrow's Mother's Day. I know my mom wants to do something, so I may hold off on doing like Sega Saturn Sunday, bringing that back tomorrow. But I should be back Monday or Tuesday. And probably playing Resident Evil 7, but not 100% sure, but probably. It depends. Maybe Sound Voltex, depending, because I still gotta go through all these songs. I have a lot of games to play, okay? I'm sorry.
Listen, the backlog.
It is big. It's real. It's always real.
Always real.
And how about you, Jam?
You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at jam_5899, where I'm just out and about clowning, talking about, anything from video games to drag race to anti-capitalism, just living my life as a Black queer man in America. So,
yes.
We should hopefully be finally actually getting a return to streaming, because the semester is finally done and I don't have to be there 5 million hours a day anymore.
Yeah.
So the hope is that I will put out my schedule, but it will most likely be Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we'll be playing Cuphead and talking about science, probably making presentations for my thesis project constantly. And we're going to get there.
Yeah.
We're going to do it. We're going to have fun.
We're all gonna have
I'm
fun.
so ready.
It's going to be great.
Yes.
Thank you everyone for watching and listening. Once again, we're live every Saturday for the podcast, and you can listen to and watch it later, either the next day or Monday. Y'all can call us out. Y'all can call us out. Listen, sometimes it's Sunday and we forget.
Remembering things is hard.
Sometimes we forget to upload. It's fine. Everything's fine. But it will be out eventually. We can't upload it the same day because we're Twitch affiliates. So if you do want to check us out on Twitch, we are at Just Gaming Tingz. We do some gaming streams, and we also do this podcast every Saturday, like I just said. Y'all, let's go grab some food. Let's go have an amazing week. And bye everyone. Love you.
Bye. Thanks for joining us.